So let's work on project part 4 of restaurant management system. So fine, if you see, we are going to create controller for report. So why do we need? So if you see, we have completed management, we have completed cashier, now it's time to create report. So if I click, it will be 404 error. So let's close the server, Control C, PHP artisan make controller. Controller would be inside report, folder report. Then click enter. The controller would be created. App http controller, you see there is report and this is created. Now here we have to create a function. So if you see, we are going to create the same function named index, and that will simply do view. This will return a view report. So we have to create the folder called report on the resource views, create new folder, let's name it report, enter, and inside that, just like we have index, let's open this, Control Shift S, let's save this on a report, index.php, and let's just say h1 with report. Now it should redirect to report. Actually we have to write web.php on the routes web.php I'm sorry, and that is a request for report. It should get into the controller called report, and the function is index. Now if there is a request for report, you should see the index.blade.php from folder. From folder report. Actually it is get. Inside folder report. Fine. So the right for copying is not index page, it is going to be the edit page. Copy the whole thing, paste it. We don't need sidebar. Let's make it 12. We don't need form as well. Let's leave the error validation as it is. Now let's check. It's just 12, not 112. That's the reason it could not get the full view. Fine. So let's add a breadcrumb. Just below report. Let's see how does it looks. Instead of hash, we want this, and then this is going to be report. Home and port. Let's have this above container. Let's see This is not Bootstrap, I believe. You have to get the code from Bootstrap. That's it. Now this is Bootstrap's design. If you want, you can have this above container. Fine, the design is overriding. We'll just remove it. That's not needed.
So next,
So now we need a datetime picker. So for that, we need the datetime picker. You see, we have to install datetime picker on a node. So there would be code. So if you see, datetime picker is available. So this is the code. Just get into the, paste it, copy, and it will take for a while because it's a package. And it says it is installed. Now we have to add moment.js as well. Moment.js. Now again we need to use the command prompt. You see, there would be a call for npm read. So here this is the code. Paste it, enter. Once this is done, you have to get into the package.json, and at present you have just the datetime picker, but after the loading you will see the moment.js file also available on the dependencies. And once this is done, you have to check the SAS file. SAS file will be available on resources SAS app.js. So we have to give the perfect path. Node modules. Inside node modules we have to look for the file path. We have to look for the tempus. So let's see, it's T, so alphabetically. After R, then only T will come. Here it is. Let's see sorry for that, whether they have used the code. And now if you see, the path is this one. Don't forget to add import. And now On the resource we have js bootstrap.js, and come at the extreme bottom and you have to add two more, the code for moment.js and the code for the datetime picker. And now we have to compile the SAS file. So to compile, what you have to do is npm run dev. It will take some time, but it will compile the SAS file. Now let's try to add these files on the report page which we have created. Just after here, let's have a row, form, report slash show action, method get, and we'll have call 6. Let's see the usage section. This seems to be alright. Just copy the first one. And the second one. And paste the script just above the end section. Seven, and then we have 8. Fine, the ID is matching. Let's refresh and check. Make sure server is running. Now you see let's check the console if there is error. Cannot find a module, so there is an error on the app.scss. So actually node it's over here inside the src. We have SAS file, and then we have, what file is it? The CSS file. You have to mention scss dot scss. Whenever you override the file, what you have to do is you have to type npm run dev. It will run completely, and then we'll check whether we are on the right path or not. Actually, the mistake was not here. It's from the app.scss. On the resource js bootstrap, you have to mention -4. Great. Now let's check. There seems to be a green signal. Click enter. Refresh this. Yes, I'm able to pick the date. And let's check. Let's make this full screen. Make this 12. And now if you see, while selecting, we are getting the time as well. We don't need the time, so for now we just need only the date. So for that you have to get into this CSS, sorry, style, and here you have to pass format : L. The same way, path is over here with comma, and we have to change it to date hyphen start. Refresh this and we'll make this date hyphen end. Now let's check. While selecting, we just be able to select only the date, not the time. Fine, that is working. Now we need to pass name attribute, date start, and then we have date end camel case. Vanda! I'm sorry for that. Let's format this. Fine, everything seems alright. Why don't we have this form outside? Let's try refresh. Instead of 6, why don't we make it 6 and 6? Instead of 12, why don't we make it 6 and 6 for side by side? Fine. Now we'll click the button. Input type submit. Value get report class btn success. We'll make this 4 and finally 4. Let's refresh this, close this. Fine. Select 13 to 27, and now you should see get report is working fine. Now once I click on it, it should go to show report, and yes, you see, whenever you use file, you have to use CSRF token and the CSR cross-site request forgery. Now let's pass this data into a controller. So let's create the web.php. Over here it is report controller, and then show. On the report controller, let's create a function called show. Let's create the request object. Let's have a validation. And here we have two values, date start and date end. Date start, and then we have date end. Once it's done, we have to get the date format properly and store it into a variable called date start, and then the date end, and here it is going to be 23, 59 and 59. Now use the model called sale. We have to use between date start and date end and get the values. So here, if you see on the sale table, we are going to find the date which is updated at, and the sale status is paid. So if you see, you have to use a query. So I'll copy it and store it into a variable called sales. This is a table where between updated is a column name, start and end, where sales status equal to paid. Now we have to return this to the view. Let's see. Now let's show this to a new page. We'll call this show report. The data what we need to send is date start and some date value, and then with again date end. On the date start and date end, what you have to pass? You have to pass this whole section. Alt Z. Paste. The same way, get the whole date and paste it over here. Now you have to change the format. Month, month, date and year. Month, date, year. Copy the whole section and paste it. Now along with that, total price, we have to pass the total price. We'll get this from this query, sum, and here we have a column called total underscore price. Let's check total price. Here it is. So we don't need this, and then again with we have to pass the variable sales with paginate function : page init, and the value is 5. So now let's create the show report page. Inside the report folder. So this is index. Let's copy the whole thing, Ctrl N, paste, save. So inside the report folder, it should be show report.blade.php. Make sure it's inside the report folder. Yes. Then show report.blade.php. And now we don't need a script. Let's remove the unnecessary scripts. Remove the whole section. Close the row, and then we need call 12, and inside the call 12 and if you see @f, the data that we are passing is sales, $sales, count is greater than 0, @else, @endif. Let's add alert danger, no data found on particular date, else success. But before that, let's add the breadcrumb, or else our life would be very miserable. Breadcrumb in Bootstrap 4. Not here. Tutorials point. So here it is. On the index just above the container, let's paste this and check whether how does it looks. Refresh it. Make sure server is running. Yep, it is running. $request, I think it is $req. Here it is. Let's try again. When I click on report, let's see on the sidebar, resources, views, layouts. For here sidebar, we'll add this report/index or just report. It's a URL, so just report. Click on report. Make sure server is running. Yep. So actually this is not the place. So here it is, report. That seems to be working. Click on report. Why it's not getting redirected on the web.php, which can be available on routes web.php. Actually it is show. Okay, and now you could see, let's edit the breadcrumb on the index, home, this is report, let's see what is the CSS issue, we'll fix it. So you see you have to write inline top. So on the CSS, public CSS, custom CSS, choose the anchor tag and make it inline block. Refresh it, and that seems to be alright. We close the custom CSS, and here it is management, and then it should be report. Fine. If you refresh, let's copy the same thing to the show report, just above the container. It's inside the container. Let's add one more thing, show report, and it should be show. Let's add the class active, and active should come here. Let's see a date. Start date is 8 and start date is 7 and end date is 8. Start date is 7 and end date is 8. Get report. Page init cannot be called statistically. Let's see. On the controller, okay, we are calling it as a static method. It's not a static method, it's a function. Refresh this. No data found on particular date. On show report, on date between, we have to pass date start and date end. If you see on the controller, date start over here and date end. Let's refresh it. You see, we're able to see over here updated 7 and 8. You see 7 and 8 is a combination. On report, so actually the problem is data found. And let's add the total price from the controller. Total price, here it is. Data found on date between is $. Let's refresh this. So 7 and 8, 7 and 9, get report. So this is the total amount. Data found on sale on date between 7th and 9th is dollar, and count is dollar sale total. This dollar sales total, it's a function, and we have 10 counts. Sale count is 10. Now we just have to fetch the value and display, that's it. So let's add one more report. So cashier, so today date is 11, view table, let's select a table and let's select a dish, butter chicken, there seems to be a problem. Cashier, select a table, I think this hash is making issue. Let's add inspect, console, there seems to be no error. Oh, I got the console error, let's see what it is. 2 errors. The server responded with 5000 on order foot, cashier order foot. Cashier, we have controller, cashier report and order foot. Let's try to add on the nav bar. Where we are getting the nav bar. It's over here. This is for get table, this is for menus for category. And on the page called cashier, so here let's make this JavaScript colon void 0, select a table, remove the hash, data is not added. Let's check the console. Order foot, app, HTTP, controller, report, not on report, cashier, order foot. Here it is. Are we getting the values? Let's check these values are getting populated or not. Menu ID plus plus menu ID, selected ID, and finally table. Refresh this, and once I select on menus, I should get these two IDs. (16.1A1). Data is being passed properly, that's not an issue. Now let's check the relevant function, that is handler. Attempt to read property ID on null. So on order function, let's see where the ID is. I'm so sorry, it's a very common error. It is because I have not logged in yet. Cashier. Let's select. Let us make some sale. Confirm. Make payment. I paid 800 rupees. The payment type is cash. Save payment. And this is a receipt. Let's go back and check the report of today's. From 10th to 11th end. Click on get report. We have only one count and we have paid 800, and that's working as we need. Now let's display the value. So let's create a table. So on the show resources, views, report, show report. Here after the if, let's create a table. Table head, table body, table row, table data, let's add ID, receipt ID, date time, table, staff, and then total amount. Now we want the ID properly, so for that @php @end PHP with the help of pagination function. @for each $sales as $s @end for each table row table data with $s, or just place the count variable. Yes. Let's add the class table. Fine, that is working. Second, these values will be coming from the columns. One, two, three, four, five. So here we have the columns of sales. The second one is receipt. Third one is date time. Fourth one is staff. Fifth one is total amount. So with updated underscore at, or let's say ID. Let's refresh, make it a post request. Fine. So this is table name which will be available over here, and then we have staff. We can name it as user underscore name over here, and then we have a total amount, so it's simply the total price. Just refresh it. Fine, the values are available. Now let's check the other value, starting from 7th, starting from 4th and end till 11th. Get report. So the value is not getting 1111. So let's, we have to use count plus plus, I believe. Fine, that is working. So we have to work on the relationship. So we open the two models, sale details. So here we have to create a function. We can give any name, get details, and here we have to pass the sale detail, and we need to pass again two parameter. The first one is sale ID, which acts as a foreign key. The second one is simply the ID of sale. Now we can use this function. Over here, let's create table row, table data, and we need to add some values. So here if you see, the data that we are going to pass, so the data that we really need is, we leave it first on blank, then menu ID, then menu, then quantity, then price, then total price, and use again for each at the rate for each, and end the for each. Let's have the same thing, and here get the blade dollar. Now let's say get the same thing with this sales. So here we'll add the function name, which is sale details, or this one, and with this variable sale details sd, Let's pass the variable name. First one is menu ID. The first one is going to be simply dash. Then we have menu. Then we have quantity. Then we have price. Then we have multiplication of both quantity and price. That's it. Let's check how does it looks. Undefined property. With this sales, we can access the sale detail function. It says undefined property. Okay, now we are able to get it. But we are passing this in this way. And we have to use 0. Let's see. So now we are able to fetch the relationship. And I have just added primary and text white. So instead of adding this to the menu heading, we'll add this class to this one. Let's see, there seems to be a hidden row. So on the show report we have a table class, so let's remove the class table and check how does it looks. Refresh it, and now you could see the values. It was because of the class. So let me remove this and let me give my own class, my class. So after here, let's get into the public CSS, custom CSS. 100%. Fine. ₹500. It is ₹650. So now if you see, we are just getting the one value. We don't want the one value, we want all the values are similar. So let's try it without this. So let's use the has many and belongs to. We don't have to pass this. So let's get this on the table sale. Here the table name is sale, belongs to sales. Let's try. Let's work on user roles. So at present I'm logged in as Vishal. So on the restaurant app we have a users table, and at present we have just only one column. So let me create another user and make that user as a cashier. Register. We'll give him name as Suresh. Suresh@gmail.com. Password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now if you see, two columns are available, and now we are going to modify the column, the table. Likewise, after name I would like to add a column called roles. So quit the server, PHP artisan make migration, add roles to users. Click enter. Now it says add roles to user is added. Or to check it, what you can do is on the database migration, here we'll add $table string column name roles. Default value is going to be admin, and then one more value, which is after name. On down function, let's use the column called function called drop column role. Let's type PHP artisan migrate. And it says it's migrated. Let's check. You see, admin is available. Now let's make this Suresh as cashier. On a model called user, here if you see, we are going to create a function, public function check admin, and here $this is referred to the current user, .role is a column name, if then it should return true, else it should return false. And now we are going to add this. It's on the home, on the resources, views, home. So @if auth colon user, it has a function called check admin @endif. Let's check. Our server is running. Now PHP artisan serve. Now we should not see undefined constant. So here user is a function, and now you see management is not available because I am logged in as Suresh. The same way, if he is a cashier, if he is admin, then don't show the. So if he is not admin, then don't show the report. So only cashier is available for Suresh. Let's log out and log in by Vishal. Now let's log in with Vishal. Call to member function check admin on none. On the user.php, check admin, don't need this anymore. So let's config clear this, Control C. Quit the server, PHP artisan config cache. Now let's type PHP artisan serve. Let's try to enter this. Let's try to log in with. So he is admin by default. So now we could see these values. Let's try to log out. So what happens is when I click on log out, it is not able to find this values. So that is right itself, because without logging we should not able to show this to anyone. Now if I refresh, I can show the. What is happening is, if it is not logged in, then it is not able to identify the whole function. That is what happening. Now let's log in with the full admin. Now we can see all these values. And now let's work on the middleware. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a middleware on the web.php that will make your software non-hackable. So it means, let me log out and try to access cashier page. You see, it is able to access. We should not allow that. So for that you have to get into the web.php. Let's try this one more time. Fine, our issue is not working. Now I'm going to create a middleware. So this is how we create middleware auth. Fine, now just paste this everything inside the middleware. Now you won't be able to access until you are logged in. Syntax error, unexpected identifier auth. Let's try to add this above the middleware. Let's check. Unexpected end of file. So let's add the colon, semicolon, and now if you see, it is not allowing me unless I am logged in. So let me log in as Suresh, which is a cashier. Click on login. Now you see he's only able to access the cashier. Now let me log out and log in by admin, which is Vishal. Click on login. Fine, it's working. And now again there is an error, mistakes. If you see, if I log in as cashier, still cashier, if he knows the URL, he can access the page. Like if he say he knows category, and he would be able to access the category page. That we should not allow it to do it. So for that I have to create a middleware. Close the server. Let's get PHP artisan, make middleware. It's going to be verify admin. Click enter. Now you should see the middleware section. Where is the middleware? You see, here it is verify admin. So this is the middleware we created right now. Now in the middleware, to get the current user, we can use auth, and if auth user check admin and auth check is true, then redirect to the next page. Else return redirect /login. Let's try category. site can't be reached. PHP serve. Let's try with some other route available on web.php. He's cashier. Let's try this. He should not be able to allow this. If you see, we are currently logged in as user, but we are able to see the category page. That should not be possible. Now if you see, we have to implement this over here. So let's create one more route, and the second argument is going to be verify admin, and in that one only the management and report. Admin should only have access to verify and management and report. Let's try to access cashier. Now what you have to do is, let's access this management. We have to use the verify admin in the kernel. So how are we going to do? In the kernel we have middleware group, route middleware is a place. Just copy it, verify admin. This is the class name, class. So app, http, middleware, then verify admin over here. Fine. Now let's clear the cache. It's cache clear. Let's try to run again PHP addition serve. Now myself being cashier, let me access category. Check admin must return a relationship instance. So we are getting an error, but we should not get an error, we should get redirect to login. Let's try. Fine, it's working. Now let's work on creating the user role. So for that, let's log in with admin. So let's create the route. Close this, Control C. PHP artisan make controller management / users hyphen resources. So management / users. So why don't we make it user controllers? User controllers. Fine. Management / user controller on the web.php. Let's see where is the resources. Resources over here. The URL is going to be users and then user controllers. You see, it's user controllers, singular user, and we'll make it user. So PHP artisan route list. You could see the users over here. Print screen. I don't think we have to save this because we already created many times. So let's just save the URL over here. So on the sidebar, resources and views, sidebar.blade.php over here. Now on the controller app http controllers, where is the controller which we have created right now? On the management we have user controllers. I don't think we need this. I'll delete this. On the index we have the model called user, use app, user, and if you see user, it's capital U, and management slash user details. So let's create a view, resources, views, management. So just like the table, we have show tables. Where's show tables? We'll save it as user details dot blade dot php. And now we need name, we need role, we need email. Whenever there is model, make it users. It's simply user, not users. Whenever there is tab, just make it tab underscore user. ID, name, role, email, the URL is users, let's refresh, click on management, make sure server is running. Management, so let's see on the verify admin page. Verify admin middleware. Middleware verify admin. So let's try to add this. I think I found the issue. We should not use else here. Let's refresh. I found the issue. It is because we haven't used the function parenthesis. Fine. Cashier report, and now let's log in with the Suresh. Click on login. Let's try to access category. It will not allow. Fine, that's working. Now let's access the model. Sorry, let's access the user. Undefined variable user. On the user details, it is user. Fine. Now if you see, we don't need the edit and delete. We'll just use with two users. We'll just manage with this with just two users. The one is cashier and the one is admin. Fine. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for listening.